Welcome back to the channel. My name is Lauren. Thank you for joining me today. So we are going to be doing all the books that I read in September and a little sneak peek at what I'm going to be reading in October. And we're just going to get right into it. Okay, let me pull up my thing real quick here. I read 6 books in the month of September and we're just going to get right into it. We're going to go from my least favorite to my most favorite books, and then we'll do a little sneak peek on what I'm going to be reading in October. All right, so first things first, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I don't care that you broke your elbow. Kidding. I DNF'd the book, actually. I wasn't expecting to DNF this book. I actually thought I was really going to like this book. One thing about me, I love a book set in Alaska, and that's what this book was, and it is called North of the Sunlit River by Jessica Bryant Klaggman. I actually got this book as an ARC from NetGalley, so thank you to, who's the publisher? Don't know who the publisher is. So this book was available as a read now, which just means that you don't have to ask the publisher to be able to read it. It's available for whoever wants to read it. Shout out to Lake Union. So here's the thing about this book. I'm going to tell you what I liked about it and what made me ultimately DNF it. Also, I want to mention, if you do end up wanting to try this book out for yourself, it is available on Kindle Unlimited. This is about a girl named Isla Jacobson, and she's experiencing a lot of grief. She unexpectedly lost her best friend in a tragic accident, and then months after that, she finds out that her dad has a brain tumor and he unfortunately passes away. She is then invited to join a research trip in Alaska. She is someone who feels very connected to the earth and to the animals, and her specific specialty that she likes are the migration patterns of the caribou in Alaska. During this time, she comes across her dad's journal, and in there he has a massive secret hiding in the pages of that journal. And so now she's kind of faced with the option of, do I share this discovery or do I keep it to myself? Do I destroy it? Like, what am I supposed to do? That is the synopsis that was pitched to me when I read the blurb for the book. When I got into the book, I realized that while that is true, there's also like weird secondary storylines that are also happening, and I'm sure they make sense as you read more of the book. And again, I DNF'd the book. I could not really connect with this. I'm still trying to figure out what about it made me not want to read more. I will say I really enjoyed but I didn't really. So the things that I did like, I do liked the picture that the author wrote of the climate, of the nature. I liked the kind of immersive storytelling as far as the Alaskan wilderness. It felt very descriptive and made me interested in reading more. But something about the way the author was structuring the paragraphs, like the sentences, I would have to read paragraphs like 2 or 3 times to like understand the tone of the novel. And I can't say that it was bad, because I don't think it's bad. Like, it's got good reviews. Something about the writing style I just could not get with. When I was reading it through the first part of the story, which is about the first 30%, there are 5 different characters that are introduced and they all have different POVs. It was just a lot, and I tried to push through because I like the immersive writing, specifically Isla's relationship with nature and animals and how she feels them, like she feels connected to them, but I just couldn't. Like, I was trying to focus and I couldn't focus. Then I stopped caring. One of the people, Vern is a villain. Vern is a villain, and part of me is tempted just to skip to the last of the book to see if he truly is a villain. Guy is a weirdo. Don't like that guy. Anyways, it does have good reviews, so this could just be a me problem. I don't really know. I wasn't feeling her, so yeah, that was the first book that I attempted to read in September. But let's talk about the books that I actually finished and liked. I ended up liking everything else that I read in the month of September. And like I said, we're going to go from my lowest rated book to my favorite. First one being Mickey 7 by Edward Ashton. Now, this was recently made into a movie with Robert Pattinson. Yes. Love him. I wanted to read the book first before I ventured into watching the movie. I really enjoyed it. Mickey 7 is about a guy who signs up for a space expedition. This is super far into the future. Earth has been kind of made inhabitable now. Now there are space colonies. So he decides he's going to join a specific space expedition to find new planets to colonize, to see if it's suitable for human life. The only thing is he doesn't have a lot of skills and he's kind of a loser. So he decides to sign up as an expendable. Now, in this universe, an expendable is someone who sacrifices their life for the good of the spaceship, of the crew, of the mission. The only catch is, because this is the future, we can now clone people. Like, exactly. You'll back up to the server, you die on a mission, and then you just get re-downloaded into a body. If you're someone who likes sci-fi, I think you would really enjoy this. It kind of has like a similar flow like a Murderbot Diaries. There's a lot less action, but it is a slice of life, like a specific set of time. It's really, really good. We get backstory, we get lore from previous Earths. It's super cool. I also found it to be very funny too. Definitely dry humor, like the Office kind of humor. That's my favorite kind of humor. I ended up rating it 4 stars. It's a good like little sci-fi story and has a little side plot of romance kind of thing. It's definitely not the main focus of the story, but it does hold a good portion of the heart in the story. Definitely recommend. It's just really cool and it felt unique. I just really love science fiction, so I really enjoyed that book. The next book, I listened to the audiobook for Every Summer After by Carley Fortune. I ended up rating this 4 stars and I absolutely loved it. Now, I will be honest. The only reason I read this was because I wanted to read One Golden Summer, which is the second book in this kind of interconnected series. And I'm really happy that I did because I'm super invested in one of the other brothers' story now. So anyways, Every Summer After is about a young girl named Persephone, or Percy for short, and her family buy a second property on this lake in Canada. I don't know which lake it is. Like Superior? Okay, hold on. The Great Lakes. We're gonna do some Googling. So I think they live in Ontario. So what is this lake? Superior? So I'm assuming they're on Lake Superior. I actually don't remember. Where's Toronto? Can we zoom out? Oh, maybe it's Lake Ontario? But it could be this random lake right here. Like Nipsit. I think it's this one. I think it's this lake. Girl, I don't remember. And also this is kind of irrelevant. Okay. Anyways, they're on a lake in Canada. Next door, there are these 2 brothers, Sam and Charlie. Now, Charlie is the older brother. Reading Charlie was like, he's such a classic older brother. Both of the brothers, I will say, are described as to be very attractive, but Charlie is more of the traditionally really attractive hunk meathead guy. And the younger brother is, well, he is attractive, but he's more, I don't know, average, I guess. He sounded really cute. I was down. But anyway, so Sam and Percy are really close in age, and so they start hanging out. Percy and her family live at the lake, obviously during the summer. School breaks, and Sam and Charlie and their family live on the lake full time. They own a restaurant there, and basically we just watch the story of Percy and Sam kind of grow throughout the years from their adolescence up to their high school graduation. I really enjoyed this book. It's a childhood friends to lovers, if that is a trope that you like. Felt natural and real. Drama. Oh my gosh, there's so much drama. As far as the story goes, the book opens up with Percy. She's 30 years old now. She works in the city of Toronto. She works downtown. She's got an apartment. She's got a boyfriend. She just realizes, like, I don't like this guy. So they end up breaking up, and then she gets a call from Charlie saying, hey, I'm gonna let you know our mom died and we would love to have you come to the funeral. Now Percy is really taken aback and scared because she left town, basically ghosted Sam because she has something that she needs to come clean about to Sam, but she can't do it, and she kind of blew up their relationship. It was a lot. She is scared to come back in town. Percy ends up saying, you know what, I need to go and support the family. These people were such integral parts of my life growing up. I have to go. Percy travels back down to the lake and she runs into Sam again. Kind of like their second chance at trying to figure out if there's something there between the two of them. It was just really good. It felt pretty realistic to like real life in some sense. Some stuff is like super crazy drama. I don't know if that's happening in real life, but I Actually, knowing what I do know about, actually, yeah, that would happen in real life. Dialogue felt normal. The situations felt normal. The conflict of like teenagers being in love with each other, but they still want to try and have careers, and they're trying to decide on, do we date? Do we wait? What should we do? We want to be with each other, but is this the right time to do it? All of those conversations felt very realistic and natural. Carley Fortune is really praised on how she can set a scene, how she describes a landscape. I felt like I was on the dock with Sam and Percy. Loved it. It made me want to be on the lake reading this book. I definitely recommend it. I really enjoyed the audiobook production as well. I rated this book 4 stars, and I cannot wait to read One Golden Summer with Charlie. I'm on hold right now. I'm very excited to get to read it. So the next book I read was actually something that was pretty highly anticipated for me this year, and that was My Friends by Fredrik Backman. I rated this book 5 stars. Absolutely incredible. I'm actually going to read the synopsis straight from Goodreads because I feel like I don't really know the best way to describe what this book is. It is like coming of age. It is a found family. It is grief. It's about love. It's about friendship. It's about letting go, enjoying the little things, being grateful for the people around you. Let me just read you the synopsis. Most people don't even notice them. 3 tiny figures sitting at the end of a long pier in the corner of one of the most famous paintings in the world. Most people think it's just a depiction of the sea, but Louisa, an inspiring artist herself, knows otherwise, and she is determined to find out the story of these 3 enigmatic figures. 25 years earlier, in a distant seaside town, a group of teenagers find refuge from their bruising home lives by spending long summer days on an abandoned pier, telling silly jokes, sharing secrets, and committing small acts of rebellion. These lost souls find in each other a reason to get up each morning, a reason to dream, a reason to love. Out of that summer emerges a transcendent work of art, a painting that will unexpectedly be placed into 18-year-old Lucia's care. She embarks on a surprise-filled cross-country journey to learn how the painting came to be and decide what to do with it. The closer she gets to the painting's birthplace, the more nervous she becomes about what she'll find. Louisa is proof that happy endings don't always take the form we expect in this stunning testament to the transformative, timeless power of friendship and art. Yeah. I love this book so much. Very moving and very emotional, but also very funny. And I loved the humor in this book. I was laughing out loud. I was also crying out loud. There are so many good quotes from this book. And again, that found family aspect of this is truly the heart of the story, giving people a chance to be who they are and allowing them to shine in the way that they are going to shine and not in the way you think they should shine. After reading this, I just wanted to call my friends and tell them how much I love them and care for them, and anything that they need, I will be there for them. Like, that's the kind of heart and the kind of feeling, the motivation that you get from reading this book. It's a beautiful story of grief as well, and kind of letting go of your perceived expectations that you think someone has given you, and they're just like, I just want you to be happy. Like, you're putting all this pressure on yourself for me, and I just want you to be okay with who you are. And I hope that you see how I view you. Felt like I was one of the teenagers during those summers. I loved this book so much. I cannot wait to read more by Fredrik Backman. I think that I really enjoy his storytelling. I enjoy the way he writes. I understand the way that he writes, how he writes. I will say this isn't action-packed. Really, there's a lot of things happening all at once. And while there kind of is with like the flashbacks from the summer the painting was created versus Louisa's journey with the painting, but it's definitely more of a character study. This is literary fiction, learning a little bit about each of the characters, and some of them you don't even know their names till like the end of the book. I thought that it was just incredible. Like, this is such a good book. 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars. This is going to be slotted into my favorites of the year for sure. It just warmed my heart. It broke my heart. It healed my heart. I loved my friends. If you don't read anything from this video, please read this one. I promise. It's so good. The next book I read was actually another arc, so shout out to St. Martin's for letting me read an early copy of this book. That is Game On by Kai Stevens. Now, this is a college sports romance. Technically, this is my first college sports romance. This is about Ella and Hudson. Now, Ella is a student from Oxford, and she is doing a year abroad in America, more specifically Nashville, Tennessee. And she is coming to the US to be able to perform on a competition cheerleading team and hopefully travel to Daytona to do the big cheer competition. And we also follow the story of Hudson. He is actually the quarterback of the football team in the story that I cannot remember the name of it. I don't remember. And he also has a very complicated relationship with his family. He is actually the son of like a very, very famous and prominent NFL quarterback. Only thing is his dad kind of got injured, and it was kind of a very dark path where he ended up leaving his family on drugs and alcohol. So Hudson changed his last name to his mom's maiden name to kind of strip himself from his father's legacy to kind of be his own person. And he is also just playing college football because he loves college football, and he has no plans of entering to the draft, which I thought was pretty interesting. But Hudson and Ella meet at a bar in Nashville on Broadway. Ella and Hudson are kind of vibing. They like each other. Fast forward, they realize that he's a quarterback and she's a cheerleader from the same college. Because of rules, they're like, okay, no dating, no fraternization between the teams because we don't want drama. They're like, fine. And they kind of end up fighting a lot. Like, they don't really like each other. Like, Hudson is cool with Ella, but Ella's like, you're being weird. Let's not be weird. Like, be an adult. And it's kind of like their story of like growing into friendship and then kind of liking each other. Just your very classic college romance kind of story. I thought it was decent. I didn't think it was horrible. Didn't think it was life-changing either. I rated this 3 stars. There were a few things about this that I was like, people in Nashville do not do that. I had that thought a couple times in this story. I don't think the author is from Nashville. I think she's from like up north somewhere, which kind of makes sense to some of the things that she was saying that people were doing in the city because that ain't there. And, you know, she was shouting out some restaurants that I've been personally, and they are good restaurants for sure. This is a good palate cleanser. I would think this is a good vacation book, right? There's not a lot of stakes. There isn't a huge amount of drama or things going wrong. It isn't messy at all, really. It's just a decent college sports romance. Like, I knew what I was gonna get. I had an idea of what it was gonna be like, and it was exactly that. And I'm not really complaining about it. I did not think it was bad. If you just want to read something to get out of a reading slump, maybe this could be for you. This could actually put you in a reading slump because it is kind of slow, but you know, it wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. The last book that I read in September was my favorite book behind my friends, and that is None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. Yeah. Incredible. So good. Loved it. Legendary. Never been done before. What's that Lady Gaga meme?
Talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular, never the same, totally unique, completely not ever been done before, unafraid to reference or not reference, put it in a blender.
I absolutely loved this book so much. Bro, this is a book about 2 women. The main woman that the story is kind of focused on, her name is Alex Summers, and she is a popular podcaster, girl boss. She invites women, successful women, I should say, to kind of share their stories on how they got to where they are. So this is like CEOs, entrepreneurs, things like that, actresses, musicians. It's a very popular podcast. So she goes out one night to celebrate her 45th birthday, and in the back corner of the restaurant, there's another woman, and her name is Josie. Now, Josie is also celebrating her 45th birthday. So that same evening, Josie runs into Alex in the bathroom and is like, hey, my birthday's today. Is today your birthday too? And they're like, yeah, oh my gosh, we're birthday twins. Even more so, they were born in the same hospital in England, which is super crazy. Josie's like, whoa, that's super wild. That's crazy. And they chat for a second, but then Alex goes back to her party. And Josie's kind of left standing there like, wow, my life could be so different. We also learn in that moment she's married to a much older man than her. Josie's 45. Her husband's older than her. She had children young, so she kind of just feels like she's missed out on that cool version of her life, right? Josie goes home and she immediately starts Googling all about Alex and realizes that her kids, Alex's children, went to the same school as Josie's kids did. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Josie ends up listening to a few podcast episodes and then she decides, you know what? I want to be like these women and I want to change my life. I have the opportunity to do this. Like, I'm not getting any younger, might as well. Then she ends up running into Alex again at the school because they actually live a couple blocks away from each other. That's also actually crazy. She's walking her dog. She sees Alex and is like, oh my God, my kids used to go here. Do your kids go here? And she's like, yes. And then, Josie's like, listen, I hate to sound like a stalker. I hate to sound creepy, but I listened to a few episodes of your podcast and I have a proposition for you. Would you like to document my journey into becoming one of these women that you interview? And Alex thinks about it and she says, you know what? I have been in the market for a new format for my podcast and actually that sounds like something I would be interested in. They exchange numbers and then from there the story unfolds. Other than the story, the structure of this book is super unique and I really enjoyed it. The book is actually a documentary that has been picked up by Netflix. Now, keep in mind Alex is recording podcast episodes with Josie and they're kind of following the chronological order of the things that have happened to Josie in, the reality in the book. But the Netflix documentary, you're also watching / reading along with the documentary. So you'll get a little section of the book that is from the documentary and it'll be like interviews from different people and then they'll kind of slot into the reality of the story in the following paragraphs and you'll kind of read the corresponding interview with what happened from the POV of both Josie and Alex. The audiobook production of this was super cool and immersive because they have like the theme music, background noises, different actors for the different people that are being interviewed throughout the story. I highly recommend doing an immersive read, which is reading the physical while listening to the audiobook. It made the story so much cooler and probably why I ended up rating it so high, to be honest with you. But the story itself was psychotic. One of my favorite thriller kind of writing choices is an unreliable narrator. And even within the first couple paragraphs, you're kind of like, this woman is actually insane. And we also know she's an unreliable narrator from Alex's point of view. There are things that are happening and she's like, that's weird, right? Like things are weird. I really enjoyed this book. I rated it 5 stars. I would love it if this was picked up for a movie or like a mini series or something. I think that it could be really awesome. I was gobsmacked through a lot of this book and I was also appalled by a lot of things that were in this book as well. I was really shocked. By some things that were in this novel. But other than that, I really thought it was incredible. And I highly recommend that you read this book or listen to this book. I think either one would be fine. Pretty much 0 complaints on this book. And it's pretty highly well rated, I think, as well. So those are all the books that I read in September. So let's now get into the books that I'm going to be reading in October. I have 4 books that are on the docket that I think that I am going to get into. It's going to be a very loose month as far as what I'm going to be reading. So the first one is another book by Lisa Jewell. I really loved None of This Is True so much. I wanted to read another one of hers. And I'm actually listening to the audiobook version of Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. Now this is a story about the youngest daughter of a family who goes missing. Really devastating for the family. 10 years later, there's new evidence that comes forward about their daughter. Meanwhile, the mother of the daughter that disappeared, she ends up meeting this guy because her and her husband, through the trauma of losing their daughter, get divorced, like they break up. Mom, she ends up meeting this guy. He's a handsome guy. They're around the same age. He also has daughters of his own. And then when the mother goes to meet the guy she's dating daughter, it is an uncanny resemblance to her daughter that disappeared 10 years earlier. Yeah. I'm actually reading it and the little girl, she's mad weird. She's really weird. There was something that I just read that was like, oh. And I have a lot of theories on what I think happened. And I hope that something else totally out of left field, but still realistic to the story happens. But I have a feeling I know what happened and I'm excited to see how it plays out. The second book that I'm reading is actually another arc that I got sent to me. I didn't request it. This got sent to me from my publisher. which is so cool. So thank you to Berkeley for sending me a copy. Revolve by Bal Khabra. I think that's how you say her last name. I'm not 100% sure. This is a college sports romance that is part of a series. I have not read the other 2 books at all. Revolve is about Sierra, who is a former Olympic ice skater who has suffered a big injury that almost cost her life. And so she's trying to get back on the rink, trying to get back into competitions, but she's kind of struggling with that. The main guy in the story, his name is Dylan Donovan. He is kind of a rough playing hockey player. He's very reckless with his life, drugs, partying. So he fails a drug test. And the program, the NCAA, is like, hey, you're suspended, but we'll reinstate you if you can be productive and turn your life around. Sierra and Dylan get connected and they decide that they're going to work together to help Sierra and therefore help Dylan. And it's pretty good. I'm about 65% into it right now. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time. Dylan is that guy. He's so sweet. He's kind of the guy that's kind of like,
I'm a bad guy, but I'll be good for you.
And I'm kind of eating it up. I'm kind of loving it. So I'm enjoying that. So those are the 2 books that I'm in the middle of at the moment. I decided to spend my physical TBR wheel. So I have a lot of books that are unread on my shelves, and I made a TBR wheel a few months ago and I have not used it since then, and I thought this would be a good time to get some books off my physical shelves to see if I even want to keep them. The 2 books that I have, which both of these actually came from Free Little Library, so shout out Free Little Library. The first book that I spun on my TBR wheel was Bitter Passage by Colin Mills. Now this is about a guy. Let me just read you the back of it because I don't really know what this book is about. The search for the Northwest Passage, a rescue mission that becomes a nightmare. In May 1845, Sir John Franklin, commander of the HMS Erebus and HMS Terror, departed England to seek a navigable I'm gonna put it on screen. This word route across the top of the Americas. He and his 128 men never returned. 4 years later, Royal Navy Lieutenant Fredrik Robinson and the Assistant Surgeon Edward Adams are determined to find the men missing in the Arctic. While they are united in purpose, they are divided in ambition. The poised and idealistic Adams strives to save his boyhood hero. Robinson hungers for the promotion through the Admiralty ranks. Weathering a relationship as volatile as the icy, barren land upon which they trek, Robinson and Adams lead a team of seamen in search of the lost expedition. What awaits them is a struggle against not only the elements, but each other, as loneliness, starvation, and a maddening isolation. Okay, yeehaw. What awaits them is a struggle against not only the elements, but each other, as loneliness, starvation, and maddening isolation prove more chilling than the deadliest Arctic blasts. A harrowing novel set against the background of true event, Bitter Passage explores 2 men's driving need for redemption and the lengths to which a desperate soul will go to survive. This sounds pretty good. I have seen some star ratings of this, so we'll see. Kind of inspired by a true story. It's 288 pages, so it's a shorter book. You know, the font's kind of small. I've had this since I started kind of getting back into reading again this year, so I'm excited to either like it or redonate it to a Free Little Library. So the second book that my wheel chose for me was The It Girl by Ruth Ware, a thriller novel. Excited to read this. This is about a girl. Let me just read you the back of it because I don't know what it's about. April Clark Cliveden, what kind of last name is that, was the first person Hannah Jones met at Oxford. Vivacious, bright, occasionally vicious, and the ultimate it girl. She quickly pulled Hannah into her dazzling orbit. Together, they developed a group of devoted, inseparable friends. Will, Hugh, Ryan, and Emily. During their first term. By the end of the second, April was dead. Now, a decade later, Hannah and Will are expecting their first child, and the man convicted of killing April, former Oxford porter John Neville, has died in prison. Hannah is revealed to have finally put the past behind her, but then her world is rocked when a young journalist comes knocking and presents new evidence that Neville may have been innocent. As Hannah reconnects with old friends and delves deeper into the mystery of April's death, she realizes that the people she thought she knew all have something to hide, including a murder. It sounds good. It's a thick girl. So those are the books that I'm probably going to be reading in October. I may read some more. I may just read those. Don't really know. But I'm already a little bit halfway through 2 books. It's the first week of October, so I expect to probably read these 2 over the next couple of weeks, and then maybe throw in a couple audiobooks here and there. I feel like October is going to be an audiobook month for me. I'm excited to get into these books. And that brings me to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this turned out okay. I'm trying a new setup right now. The sun has gone down. I was supposed to film this way earlier today. Didn't. But yeah, so those are the books that I already said that. So thank you for watching today's video. Hopefully I will be back in the mood to film more things that are just wrap-ups and TBRs. Hopefully I get to vlogging again. I really want to buy a vlogging camera, but they're expensive and I kind of need to be saving my money, but I really, really want one. Like, I've been thinking about it forever. I really, really want one. So maybe, hopefully, maybe during Black Friday or something, I can pick up a camera. That's kind of like the goal. Hopefully I'll get to do that. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching today's video. If you liked it, make sure to like it, comment, subscribe. If you do subscribe, hit that notification bell. That way you're notified every time I upload a new video. If you've watched this far, leave me the hockey skate emoji. Okay, that's all. Bye.